A threat from Iran. The leader of Friday prayers in Tehran saying, quote, "We are increasing our missile capabilities so that Israel cannot sleep well. If she gets crazy, we will turn Tel Aviv and Haifa to dust." That threat coming after an exchange of fire between Israeli forces, between Iranian forces in Syria and Israeli forces in the Golan Heights. Joining us now from New York, the former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak. He's the author of an important new book entitled "My Country, My Life: Fighting for Israel, Searching for Peace." Prime Minister, thanks so much for joining us, and congratulations on the new book. There are several issues I want to get to, but first, the threats coming from Iran, the tensions clearly escalating. You were the defense minister under the current Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. Netanyahu says Iran is crossing a red line. In your opinion, Prime Minister, is war coming?
I wish it's not coming, and I hope it's not coming, but Israel proved its determination, will keep proving its determination to block the Iranians from deploying in Syria, very close to our border. And I think that in spite of all this rhetoric, as long as they understand that the Europeans are still in the deal, the Iranians will behave cautiously. They are basically suspicious that with Pompeo on one side and Bolton on the other side, the president might looking for the slightest mistake they might make in order to consider moving further, probably even to a surgical attack. They are suspecting that that's what happened, and I believe it will drive them to be more cautious, at least in actions.
President Trump's decision to pull the U.S. out of the Iran nuclear deal, do you believe that's to blame for the latest escalation in tensions between Israel and Iran?
No, it's not. The clash about this deployment started several months ago. At the beginning, far from the public eye, we never exposed our operations. But since certain point, some 2 months ago, it surfaced and everyone sees it. What happened 2 days ago was their response for previous attacks, and we responded very forcefully to send a clear signal. But Israel doesn't have any interest in a major war. We are not afraid. We are the strongest power. Israel can decimate any neighbor or combination of neighbors, but we do not have interest. Israel developed strengths and advanced during the intervals between wars.
Did President Trump make the right decision from your perspective, Prime Minister, in withdrawing from the Iran nuclear deal?
You know, I saw that there are other ways to deal with the Europeans, together with missiles, terror, insurgency, whatever. But once he made his decision, it's a new reality. It doesn't make sense to discuss the previous reality.
But let me press you on that. A lot of people are wondering, the Europeans, for example, France, Germany, the UK, they didn't want him to do it. What is your position?
You know, I thought it's a bad deal, but once President Obama signed it, it became reality. I thought that it could be treated, the whole new issues, missiles, terror and insurgency, which are out of the agreement, could be treated outside the agreement. In a way, the decision to pull out, on one hand, in the short term, it creates certain kind of more cautiousness on behalf of the Iranians. But in the longer term, even vis-a-vis the North Korean, it's a problem. You know, the North Korean might argue next month, what the sense of making an agreement with the American president if you can wake up with the next president just canceling it?
Well, do you believe the Iranians were fully complying with the specific terms of the Iran nuclear deal? The International Atomic Energy Agencies, France, Germany, the UK, they all say Iran was in full compliance. Was it?
Basically, they were in full compliance. And I think that the very impressive operation that our Mossad made in Tehran, bringing out 1,000 pounds of documents and so on, whenever you dig into it more and more, you find that there is no slightest evidence of any violation after 2015. And basically, all the information, however impressive that was found there, was already known here in Washington, in Tel Aviv, and in Vienna.
What do you anticipate will happen on Monday when the U.S. formally opens up its embassy in Jerusalem, moving the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. I know there's a lot of concern. They're bracing for some violent reaction. What do you anticipate?
First of all, we are all kind of grateful for the president for making this decision, daring decision. Israel is for both sides of the political aisle welcoming this decision. Of course, it alienates the Palestinians, probably for no reason, because it does not exclude the possibility that on a proper time when they will have, hopefully, their state, they will have their capital, and they will have American embassy as well. But it might cause an eruption of violence, both in Judea and Samaria, and more so in Gaza. We try to prepare ourselves. I hope it won't end up with a lot of fatalities, which can only raise the tension. But it could happen, especially with the massive demonstration that are predicted to happen in Gaza in May 15.
The new book by Ehud Barak is entitled My Country, My Life, Fighting for Israel, Searching for Peace. I know you've been doing both of that your entire life, fighting for Israel, searching for peace. Thanks so much, Prime Minister, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.